Milton. I'm the school counselor for the incoming class of 2022, and this is a more detailed description of the schedule for students who are coming to 7th grade next year at Centerville Middle School. In the other video, I talked a little bit about the basic classes that every student could expect to see in their schedule. This video more looks over the structure of the schedule and gives you an actual picture of what you might see, what you would see when you receive your schedule in the mail for next year. So first off, at the top you see there's day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4, day 5, and day 6. Centerville operates on a 6-day cycle, and each of these classes may vary depending on that 6-day cycle. So that's sort of the first thing that you'd want to look at. On the left-hand side, you'll see homeroom first, second, third, and then a couple of letters, including the numbers 4 and 5, 6, and flex. Those are each of the periods, and for Centerville, we have 3 lunches: lunch A, lunch B, and lunch C. And that's what makes this look a little bit more confusing. The fact that we have period 1, 2, and 3, and then a student could have a lunch, as this student does, and then they'd have, instead of another lunch, they only get one lunch, they'd have a class during 4B, and then during period 5C, they'd also have a class instead of having lunch. So that's why that looks a little bit different. It's essentially 2 halves, 4 and B, making a whole class. They don't change classes during that time. They remain in class, but the bell would ring for other students who have lunch at that time. That day ends with a flex period at the very end. As I said in the other video, it's very important that students utilize this time to get their homework done. One other thing I want to note for the schedules for next year: when you get them in the mail, it's going to look really confusing with a lot of information that you probably don't need for the first day. The main thing that you want to focus on is the 2 things that I highlighted. So you'll see that in this sample schedule, for example, the computer applications is only being held during quarter 1, and the Exploring Technology 7 is also only being held during quarter 1. So during that first quarter, the only thing that your son or daughter needs to focus on is the fact that they need to go to computer applications on day 1 and Exploring Technology 7 on day 2. And then that continues. Computer applications day 3, Exploring Technology day 4, every other day for the course of that semester. There are other letters. So for example, you might see M1 or M2. M1 is meeting for the first 22 days of the quarter. M2 is for the second 22 days of a quarter. You might also see semester S1. That means semester 1, or S2, meaning semester 2. The only thing that you need to focus on is the classes that the student will enter in for that beginning of the school year. Of course, if you have any questions, feel free to give me a call. I hope that this helps to explain the schedule in more detail, the one that you'll be receiving in the mail later on in the summer. Thanks.